Alex Eala arrived in Cincinnati with something that has become increasingly difficult for the WTA to ignore. Wherever she plays, Filipino fans follow. And at the 2026 Cincinnati Open, that support has once again become part of the story. Eala entered the WTA 1000 as the number 17 seed, received a first-round bye, and then defeated Elena Gabriela Ruse in the second round after Ruse retired with an ankle issue. But the tennis result was only one part of what made her Cincinnati appearance so significant. Welcome to the channel. If you follow Alex Eala's remarkable rise and want the latest stories from the tennis world, make sure you're subscribed. Because what is happening around Eala is no longer simply a story about one player winning matches. It is becoming a story about audience, identity, momentum, and the extraordinary way a young Filipino star is connecting with fans across North America. The Cincinnati Open itself has changed dramatically. The tournament is operating on a transformed campus following a reported $260 million redevelopment that debuted in 2025. The facility now offers expanded fan areas, new experiences, and a significantly upgraded environment around the tennis. The tournament's official materials describe the event as bigger and more expansive in 2026, with additional tournament days and new spaces designed to accommodate the modern tennis audience. That matters because Cincinnati was already preparing for larger crowds before Eala stepped onto the court. This is a WTA 1000 event featuring many of the biggest names in women's tennis, including Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Coco Gauff, Amanda Anisimova, and other established stars. Eala is now part of that group as the number 17 seed, and her presence has added a different dimension to the tournament, a traveling fanbase that has repeatedly demonstrated how strongly it wants to see her play. The numbers surrounding her popularity in Washington had already provided a warning. Mubadala DC Open chairman Mark Ine said that at least 80% of recent ticket requests were asking about Eala, describing the response as remarkable considering the number of major stars in the field. That statement came after Eala's breakthrough run in Washington, where her matches attracted extraordinary attention from Filipino supporters and helped turn the tournament into another major gathering point for her growing audience. And this is where the Cincinnati story becomes bigger than a single match. Eala is no longer arriving at tournaments as an unknown prospect hoping to build an audience. She is arriving as a player whose presence can influence where fans want to sit, which sessions they want to attend, and how strongly a local Filipino community connects with an event. The Los Angeles Times recently described the phenomenon as a Filipino diaspora packing stands wherever Eala plays, with flags and Tagalog chants becoming familiar sights around the tennis world. That support was already visible long before Cincinnati. At the Australian Open, Filipino supporters crowded around one of the smaller courts for Eala's Grand Slam main draw debut. Later, the same pattern appeared in other cities. Fans living hundreds or even thousands of miles apart found ways to attend her matches. For many, watching Eala is not simply another afternoon at a tennis tournament. It is a chance to see someone representing a country and community that historically has not had a player competing at this level. That distinction is important. Tennis has always had passionate fan bases, but Eala's appeal carries a cultural element that extends beyond conventional rankings. The Philippines has a huge global diaspora, and Eala gives those communities a common sporting figure to rally around. Her rise has therefore created something that tournament organizers cannot manufacture through advertising alone. The fans are creating the atmosphere themselves, and they are bringing that atmosphere from city to city. Cincinnati has now become another stop in that journey. Eala entered the tournament with considerable momentum after a remarkable summer. She had already made history at Wimbledon by becoming the first Filipino woman to reach the fourth round of a Grand Slam singles event in the Open era. She then continued her North American hardcourt campaign, arriving in Cincinnati as a seeded player rather than someone simply hoping to survive the draw. That evolution changes the expectations surrounding her. A year ago, an Eala appearance at a major tournament could have been framed primarily as an interesting opportunity for a promising young player. Now the question is different. How far can she go? Which established players can she challenge? And perhaps just as importantly for the tournaments themselves, how many people will come through the gate specifically because Alexandra Eala is on the schedule? Her second-round match against Elena Gabriela Ruse provided another example of the attention surrounding her. Eala won the opening set 6-1 and led 3-0 in the second before Ruse retired because of an ankle issue. It was not the kind of complete match fans might have hoped to see, but the result still moved Eala into the third round. The official Cincinnati field confirms Ruse was part of the women's draw alongside Eala and the tournament's other major names. Then came the next major storyline. Eala's third-round opponent was Amanda Anisimova, an American star and one of the most dangerous players in the draw. That matchup created an obvious contrast. Anisimova had home country familiarity and elite-level experience. Eala had something different, an enormous wave of support that has followed her throughout the North American swing. And Anisimova understood exactly what that meant. Before facing Eala, she spoke positively about the atmosphere she expected, saying she enjoys packed stadiums and good energy even when the crowd is likely to support her opponent. That reaction is revealing because it shows how Eala's fanbase has become part of the preparation for opponents. Players are not just preparing for Eala's forehand, backhand, serve and movement. They also know they may be walking into an atmosphere where most of the noise belongs to the other side. That can create an unusual psychological environment. Tennis is an individual sport, and players spend much of a match alone with their thoughts. A loud crowd can become a source of momentum, pressure, or distraction. For Eala, the challenge is making sure that support becomes fuel rather than an obligation. The louder the crowd becomes, the easier it can be for a player to feel that she must reward every supporter with a victory. Eala has repeatedly handled that expectation with a level of humility that has become part of her public image. After her run in Washington, she pushed attention away from herself and toward what Filipino support represented. In an interview after the DC Open, when asked about her growing popularity, she redirected the focus toward what it means to be Filipino. That response captured something important about her relationship with the crowd. She does not appear to view the support simply as personal celebrity. Instead, she sees herself as representing a much larger community. That is one reason the atmosphere around her matches has become so emotional. Fans are not only celebrating points. They are celebrating representation. A Philippine flag in the stands is not merely decoration. For many supporters, it is a statement that their country belongs in this part of the sporting conversation. The tennis world has noticed. Reports from earlier in the season have described the so-called Eala effect, with Filipino crowds contributing to packed courts and encouraging organizers to place her matches in larger venues when possible. Philstar previously reported that Eala's matches had been moved to center court in some events because of overflowing Filipino crowds. That trend helps explain why her presence at a major North American tournament is now viewed through a different lens. But there is another reason the story has become so compelling. Eala is backing up the attention with results. Popularity alone can create headlines for a few weeks. Sustained performance creates a career. Her ranking has climbed dramatically over the past year, and by Cincinnati she had reached the number 17 seed line. The WTA's official Cincinnati player list confirms her position in the 2026 field alongside the sport's elite. That ranking is important because it shows the difference between hype and achievement. Eala is not receiving attention simply because she has a compelling story. She has earned the position through results. Her historic Wimbledon run, victories over established players and continued progress on hard courts have transformed her from an intriguing prospect into a legitimate threat in major tournaments. Her Wimbledon campaign was especially important. Reaching the fourth round gave her another major milestone and placed her on an even larger international stage. The US Open website has also highlighted her growing profile, describing her as a Filipino trailblazer and noting that she became the first player from the Philippines to win a Grand Slam singles match in the Open era. She is now preparing for another major opportunity in New York, where she will also appear in the Mixed Doubles Championship alongside Felix Auger-Aliassime. That upcoming US Open stage makes Cincinnati particularly important. The North American hardcourt swing is not just a series of isolated tournaments. It is a progression toward New York. Every match gives Eala another opportunity to sharpen her game, improve her ranking position and test herself against players who could eventually stand across the net at the US Open. Cincinnati therefore represents both a competitive challenge and a pressure test. Eala is now seeded highly enough to receive a bye, but that also means expectations are higher. Fans expect her to win. Opponents expect her to be dangerous. Tournament organizers know her matches can draw attention. And Eala herself has to maintain the same focus that allowed her to climb into the upper levels of the rankings in the first place. That balance may be the most interesting part of her rise. The bigger her audience becomes, the more complicated her environment becomes. A young player can normally develop away from the brightest spotlight. Eala is developing while an entire diaspora is watching. Every victory brings more attention. Every major tournament creates more fans. And every packed court makes the next appearance even more significant. Yet the Cincinnati Open is not simply a story about Eala. The tournament itself is evolving into a larger entertainment experience. Its $260 million transformation created new spaces, expanded fan amenities, and changed the physical environment around the competition. The official tournament site says the 2026 event includes additional days, a new indoor fan zone, live music, player Q&As, and other activities designed to make the grounds an all-day destination. That makes Eala's popularity especially valuable. Modern tennis tournaments compete for attention in a crowded entertainment market. They want fans to buy tickets, stay on site, watch matches, purchase merchandise, and return the following year. A player who brings a passionate community with her naturally contributes to that atmosphere. Eala's appeal therefore has implications beyond the scoreboard. There is also a broader lesson here for the WTA. The tour has spent years trying to build recognizable stars who can attract audiences outside traditional tennis markets. Eala represents an unusually powerful example of what happens when athletic success connects with a massive international community. Her story reaches beyond the Philippines because Filipino communities exist throughout North America, Europe, Australia, and the Middle East. That is why the chants can appear thousands of miles from Manila and still feel completely natural. The fans do not need the tournament to create their identity for them. They bring it themselves. They arrive wearing national colors, carrying flags, and turning a tennis session into a shared community experience. The result is an atmosphere that can be instantly recognizable even before Eala hits her first ball. For opponents, that creates a unique challenge. Anisimova was right to focus on the atmosphere rather than complain about it. A professional player has to accept that the crowd is part of sport. The best response is to use the noise as energy rather than treating it as an obstacle. But there is a psychological difference between playing in front of a partisan home crowd and playing against a traveling fanbase that has made the opponent's match feel like an away game. Eala herself must understand that difference better than anyone. She is the player standing in the middle of that noise. When the crowd erupts, she cannot allow herself to become overwhelmed. When the crowd expects a win, she cannot chase the expectation. And when the opponent fights back, she must return to the same tactical discipline that got her there. That is ultimately what will determine whether the Eala effect becomes a long-term phenomenon. Crowds can create attention, but they cannot win matches. Ticket demand can create headlines, but it cannot improve a ranking. National pride can provide motivation, but elite tennis still comes down to execution under pressure. So far, Eala has shown enough on court to make the attention meaningful. She has reached a career-high level, become a seeded player at a WTA 1000 and continued producing results against some of the strongest names in the sport. Her development is now being watched not simply because of where she comes from, but because of where her tennis might take her. And that brings us back to Cincinnati.